Sometime this week, you're going to sign up for something. It'll take 30 seconds. One thumb, Apple Pay, done. Now try to leave. The cancel button isn't in the app. It's on the website, desktop only, behind a menu called Manage, inside a menu called Settings, then a chat window, then a discount, then 3 screens asking if you're sure. Signing up took 30 seconds. Cancelling will take 30 minutes. And that gap is not an accident, or is it? Because the real answer is stranger than malice. There are 3 reasons that Maze exists, and almost nobody talks about the third one. This is sold by design. Why people buy. From the supermarket shelf to the 7-figure software deal. Start with the receipts, because we now have them under oath. Amazon Prime. Joining takes 1 click. Leaving took 4 pages, 6 clicks, 15 options, discount offers, benefit reminders. Are you sure screens? That's not my count. That's the count from the federal regulator that sued them. And Amazon's own staff had a name for this flow. The Iliad. As in Homer. As in the epic famous for taking 10 years to get to the point. Think about that. Somebody named it. A flow that drifts into existence by accident does not get a code name. Here's what the Iliad did. After it launched in 2017, cancellations dropped 14%. Not because customers got happier, because fewer of them made it out. In June 2023, the Federal Trade Commission sued. In September 2025, 2 days into the trial, Amazon settled. $2.5 billion, $1 billion in penalties, $1.5 billion back to 35 million customers, and a court order to add something radical, a clear button that says no. Facebook ran the softer version. Try deactivating your account. It shows you photos of your friends. So-and-so will miss you. Persuasion to the last pixel. And Jim's wrote the original playbook. For years, America's biggest gym chain accepted exactly 2 ways to cancel. Show up in person at the specific club where you signed up, or post a letter. In the age of one-tap everything, leaving the gym required a stamp. Regulators did write a rule for all of this. It basically said one thing. Cancelling must be as easy as signing up. A court threw it out 6 days before it took effect, on paperwork grounds. As of this year, they're trying again. Now. Every video about this topic tells you the same story. Evil designers, dark patterns, malice all the way down. And sometimes, Iliad, that's exactly right. But here's the part nobody talks about. There are 3 species of exit, not 1. The first is the trap, designed, tested, named after Greek epics. The second is the honest exit, rare but real, 1 page, 1 click, a genuine goodbye. And the third species explains most of your bad experiences, the neglected exit. Nobody owns the cancellation page. Nobody ever got promoted for making it smoother. Every roadmap has a work stream for sign-up conversion. Nobody in the history of planning meetings has stood up and demanded a more delightful goodbye. So the page just rots. Broken links, forms that error out. A phone number that rings and rings. Not malice, an orphan. And you can tell the species apart with a trained eye. Neglect looks stale, like nobody has touched it in years. A trap looks polished in exactly the wrong direction. Every button that keeps you is big and bright. The one that frees you is grey text. Size 10, bottom left. So why do traps keep winning? Follow the dashboard. Inside every subscription business, there's a number called save rate. The percentage of people who tried to leave and got talked out of it. It's measured weekly, it's celebrated, and somewhere it's attached to a bonus. Now here's the number that isn't on any dashboard. Resentment. Mildly unhappy customers leave quietly. They forget you. Trapped customers leave furious. And they recruit. They warn their friends, their followers, their procurement team. Charlie Munger spent his whole life warning about exactly this mechanism. Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. The dashboard rewards saves. The dashboard never sees the rage. So the machine, staffed by perfectly reasonable people, quietly optimizes for trapped and angry. One more thing about that machine. The sign-up page and the cancel page are built by the same team, same tools, A/B tests, button colors, copy tweaks. The difference is whose side the persuasion is on. On the way in, you and the company roughly want the same thing. The cancel page is the only page on the entire site where your interests and theirs openly conflict. Persuasion doesn't stop at the exit. It switches sides, every trick that got you in, running in reverse to keep you from leaving. Now scale it up, because everything so far was pocket money. In business software, the maze isn't 3 screens, it's a contract. The subscription renews automatically for a year, unless you give notice 90 days in advance. In writing, per clause 14. Miss that window by a day, you own another year. Or this one. To cancel, please book a call with your customer success manager, a meeting with one agenda item, talking you out of the meeting, or the quiet one. Of course you can leave. Your data export will be ready in 6 to 8 weeks. Your own numbers held politely hostage. But here's the uncomfortable bit, and it's where this video breaks from the genre. Easy exit isn't automatically on your side either. Some products genuinely need time. Ad campaigns need data before anyone can optimize them. Nobody honest can show you results in 3 days. So a vendor that lets you walk in week 1 before the thing could possibly have worked isn't being noble. It's happy to take a month of your money and let you fail. So the test isn't friction versus no friction. The test is 2 questions. 1. Was the friction agreed in daylight on the table, up front, not discovered in clause 14? 2. Does it expire when the value arrives? An annual contract with milestones set on day 1. By week 2 you'll see this, by month 2 you'll see that is commitment. The identical contract with no milestones is a cage with a dashboard. And that test cuts back at the seller. If your product takes 6 months to show value, friction isn't protecting the customer's journey, it's compensating for a design failure. So what do you actually do with all this? 1 habit, check the exit before you enter, before the free trial, before the signature. Search the product name plus the word cancel, count the steps, read what former customers went through on the way out. It works on a $9 app. It works on a $90,000 contract. Same test, because the cancellation flow is the 1 page a company builds. For the moment your interests and theirs collide, it predicts everything. Support, renewals, how they'll treat you when there's nothing left to sell you. The exit is part of the product. Time to write it down. This channel runs on numbered principles. You're meant to steal them. Principle number 1. Friction you agreed to is commitment. Friction you discover is a warning. Sometimes the warning says trap. Sometimes it just says nobody owns the exit, and nobody will own your problems after the sale either. You don't need to know which. Either way, you learned who you're dealing with before it cost you. And because a principle you can't invert is just a poster, friction is legitimate when it's agreed up front, tied to milestones, and expiring the moment value arrives. For the sellers watching, a customer kept by discovered friction isn't saved. That's churn deferred, with interest. They come back angrier, louder, and with an audience. Somewhere this week, you'll hit another 30-second sign-up. This time, spend 1 extra minute first. Look at the door you'd leave through. It will tell you more than the sales page ever will. Next episode, the countdown timer that's lying to you. Only 2 rooms left at this price. The deal ends at midnight, and the end of quarter discount that somehow exists every quarter. Manufactured scarcity, from booking sites to enterprise sales. Principle number 2 lives in that one. Subscribe if you're collecting the set. And drop the worst cancellation flow you've ever fought in the comments. The most painful one gets a full teardown in a future episode.